Hello and welcome back for our next bout, which pits Golden Guardians opposite OpTic Academy, where the guys in green are looking to bounce back after a bit of a rough week, Crumbs.
That's right. OpTic Academy has been down with the sickness and some general restness, but now you've got Scarlet back in the mix. He's up against Palafox, and Scarlet had a great debut last 2 weeks in the LCS, defeating TSM in his opening match, so that's a pretty big stepping stone for him. But on the flip side, Golden Guardians, who is a team packed with former LCS veterans, are still a little bit sloppy on the micro and macro. However, I am expecting a lot more out of Huhi and Darshan, except Huhi's not even here today.
That's
it's
true.
Deftly and Olay, the main players, the main bottom lane for the LCS team, is now taking a dive into Academy. And this is another team that's trying to figure out what works best for Academy and what works best for LCS. Throw him in the pits and see who gives you the best results.
Well, turning to the players on the riff for today, on the blue side, it is Golden Guardians Academy. In the top lane, Darshan. In the jungle, Hard. In mid, Palafox. In bot, today it's Deftly, joined by his support, Olay. And of course, their coach, Inero.
And opposite them, it's OpTic Academy with Alarim in the top lane, Dardak in the jungle, Scarlet on mid. Bot lane's filled out by Asta. Their support is Gate with their coach, Coops.
And personally, very curious to see not just how Golden Guardians play, because I think they have been one of the more standout teams in Academy this split, which is a huge shift from what they did in the kind of opening year in Academy for the team. But, you know, do they choose to play with a more flexible roster? We're starting to see teams experiment more now with 6, with 7-man rosters, which you can take into playoffs. And given how Golden Guardians main are pretty well positioned to make maybe a deep run in LCS, if you have the option to just swap a different style of bottom lane in, that's a weapon you'll really want to use come playoffs time.
And speaking of weapons you really want to use, if you take a look at the Golden Guardians Academy roster right now, you've got 3 players that in the last 4 years have won LCS titles. Olay, Darshan, Huhi. Sorry, wait a minute. My bad. Huhi is filling it by Olay. Boy, dropped the ball on that one. But it's 2. It's 2 anyways. Olay has won championships just like Huhi, just in a different team.
Well, we'll see how the draft works out. This is a fun one. We've got Aurelia, Lux, and Pyke banned away from OpTic Academy. Karma, Sona, and probably Yuumi there on the OpTic side. I mean, Dardak did play Pyke jungle yesterday. We weren't particularly thrilled with how it looked, but Alarum also plays it in solo lanes. Like, OpTic have certainly been a team that has been unafraid to play Pyke. I think Gates even played it in support as well, so it's a lot of Pyke players.
Like you were saying, it was yesterday. Freedom was going around. Players are a lot more liberal with their champion select, but trading Yuumi for Aatrox is a tall order because Yuumi, you know, and you've seen how hard she pops off. I'm looking out especially for a Sivir combination here. The Sivir Yuumi, we saw the European teams pilot to great success. Hopefully somebody else can take a good note out of it. And into a Nautilus, who would be amazing for you to just spell shield his ultimate every single time. I wouldn't mind seeing it. However, it can be really difficult because it's Dredgeline as well that can get you. And the auto as well. So
yeah.
A lot of CC out of Nautilus.
In general, the school of thought seems to be that if you're going to play against Yuumi, you need a lot of ways to engage. Because generally, when you find 1 kill, you generally get the Yuumi as a bonus as well. And if you ever catch Yuumi on her own, she dies in an absolute heartbeat. So we'll see how it all functions out. Nautilus going to join the Aatrox and Sejuani and Lucian. Actually, the selection's there for Golden Guardian, so much more aggressive here from Deftly.
Yeah, super strong early game, and this is what I like to see because you got a bottom lane that's coming in from the LCS into Academy. The last thing you want to see is them playing passive, them playing to survive. You want to see them crush because that's what it's supposed to be, right? You are supposed to be at a higher level in the Academy, come down and crush. But you're up against guys that also have some pretty extensive experience in Asta and Gate. So it's not going to be easy, but it is what the job requires.
Well, they do take the Sivir for themselves. Kind of I would say kind of picking yourself into the Lucian, but in general, you're just playing a pretty defensive lane. So I think fine to just take a pretty consistent bot laner. GP, though, going to be the next ban away from top lane. And, oh, okay, Greg is starting to be taken out of the pool. Teams not wanting to play against that champion, regardless of the position he ends up.
Still gives up the Yasuo, though. Yasuo is still available for this selection, so a lot to work with here. And when you have the Sivir, remember, this is the champion that enables shenanigans in the mid lane for you to play whatever you want, because she fills the entire wave clear quota by herself. So if you got the last pick going over to Scarlet, I really want to see what he brings to the table. It was the Vladimir last week, sorry, 2 weeks ago in the LCS that he really liked. And now I think that his champion pool will be expanded a little bit more, but it wouldn't be bad with Sivir. Sivir Vlad is a good combo.
Yeah, we've seen him play Vel'Koz in Academy as well, so certainly a player that seems to have quite a few picks available. Elise was actually the second ban there for Golden Guardians, and Camille to finish it off there for OpTic, as Nico is going to be locked in here for a solo lane.
Absolutely love that Nico pick. Nico is something that is very powerful in Europe because she pretty much wins every lane. You can play her in top, mid, and bottom. AP, attack speed, it doesn't matter. You got the CC, you got a great ultimate, so very strong mid game. Mechanically, she is quite difficult, which is why I can see why we haven't really mastered her over here. But locking her in at 4th location is a really big deal because now you don't know if it's Aatrox jungler or not.
Well, it is Corki there for, I assume, mid lane, and Renekton, the final pick there for Golden Guardians, as we'll see what OpTic have cooked up for their final pick. Dardoch has certainly played quite the array of junglers so far in Academy. We've seen his Pyke, we've seen his Kayn, we've seen his Sejuani, I think, too.
He plays
now,
whatever
we
he
might
wants.
see the Rengar. Instead, it's actually Cassio last pick here.
So it is going to be the Aatrox jungle with Nico in the top lane. So lots of AD between the jungle and the bot lane, but the AP being provided by the solo laners.
I like it. We've also seen Asta play Nico, but obviously with Sivir locked in, he's not going to be taking that one here. So as you mentioned, Nico top, Aatrox jungle, Cassio mid there to round up the top side. Curious to see how it all shuffles out here, but I think probably a matchup Skull is happy with up against the Corki.
And look at what Cassiopeia does here, because her W, her miasma, is going to be a huge deal. You land that on any of the AD carries, they can't get out. Sejuani can't Q. Renekton is basically useless if he's standing on top of it. So if you actually land a very good miasma, you flat out win the team fight. That's an ability that can win you the fight against what Golden Guardians has drafted. So the Cassiopeia pick, I really like here because I see the value in inhibiting the opponent.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it works in nature, but I think snakes sometimes can kill cats. So also the option if you can ground the
kill everything.
That's true. If you ground the Yuumi, you can also pick her off as well. Did get changed, I think, this patch where Yuumi can finally get interrupted when attempting to dash to another ally. Not going to come up that often, but certainly Yuumi is a lot more vulnerable, and I believe this is the first time we've seen either Deathly or Relay this split play these particular champions. So certainly two players in the LCS that we have criticized for having too narrow of a champion pool. This go round, playing something that I believe they have not played before this split, and we'll see how they look here down in Academy.
And we just have a trade division, so both teams will ward out Raptors. Nothing crazy. You know, I still think people address camps in both the new way and the old way, and you still understand what is being said, where it's either a Raptor camp or chickens or Wraith.
I think it depends how long you've been playing League of Legends.
Really? Is it confusing then?
Well, if you didn't play League when the Raptor camp was a different set of monsters, I can see how maybe it's confusing. Although, maybe the nomenclature is common enough that you figure it out even if you're a newer player. I miss the Wraiths too, though, Crumbs.
You missed the Wraith?
So fun.
Oh,
I was a mid laner. I like farming them. Hard here, gonna start.
Raptors is easier, you can say, actually.
Red buff gonna be started up here by Golden Guardian. Same there on the OpTic side as Dardoch. Got a little bit of help from Aloran by the looks of things. Just gonna finish that one off and then walk up to his Krugs. Same story there for Hard on the Sedge. As we said, Dardoch has been very aggressive, kind of up to his usual tricks here in Academy.
This is not nerfed Sejuani, though, because it's 9.12.
Yes.
So this is an S tier pick out of Hard.
Yeah, certainly one they could have maybe taken for themselves, but OpTic decided they had different ideas, wanting to pick that Aatrox early on, and I guess get the Nautilus to try and lock down the Yuumi, and so far, things looking okay. Astor and Gate first to level 2 here. Definitely an Oli going to have to play back just a little.
Let's see how his last hitting on their tower is.
Missed one. Not going to miss too many more.
They're at the same. They're identical. Only 2 CS missed out of both of them. And I'm really curious to see what Dardoch does out of this Aatrox, because locking it in early on I think he kind of put himself in a position where he had to play with the Sejuani being up. You typically go to Olaf and you go to the Trundle as your answer, and so often is that the case that we just were not expecting that they would go with something else. Look at that. That's what I'm saying. That W, that miasma to Scarlet is going to be huge in this game.
Yep, phase rush as well to chase down Palafox, who is forced to just kind of eat the trade and get away with his W. Poke in the bottom lane, also continuing here as Ole weaving those Qs around the wave where he can. Does seem like the kind of the classic Sivir plan of just push the wave in is working out well in the current 2v2.
And speaking of things that are working out well, I think Darshan will want to keep the wave as close as possible to his tower here so that he has an opportunity to all-in Alorim. And now Card is coming in. He's really trying to overextend to make sure that he actually gets a wave. If he can just bait out some of Alorim's spells, it's the opportunity for him to go for. Look at the Fury Bar. It's building up. Alorim knows that he's in a really dangerous spot, and with his jungler in reverse side of the map, he has to wait for Dardoch to get up there.
But look at the wave, just going to stay in kind of a miserable spot for a little while. Now, finally, with the wave catching up, looks like we'll push back, but Alorim still potentially vulnerable. There's Darshan with the first one. Knock up there onto Alorim. Does find the right one, but good route there under the tower. Forced to use the flash, but Alorim does get away.
His spider instincts were really good there because any other top laner, you know they would have walked up a little bit, used some of those TP abilities, maybe even use a W to get a last hit on the creep, and then suddenly you are down.
Scarlet continuing to farm things out here. Again, using his counter pick. This was one of the advantages OpTic got by flexing the Aatrox and getting a late pick for mid in phase 2. So that Scarlet was able to get a matchup that he seems very confident on, although right now the CS is even. Dardoch, though, is using some of that free time to invade in and get some camp stolen away. Definitely does dodge out of the hook there, but Dardoch steals the blue buff and dashes back over the wall.
Well, he's significantly far ahead because Sejuani opted out of not doing blue buff in order to go for that gank, which really took a lot of time waiting, buying all that time. So Alorim's result in playing safe actually bought enough time for Dardoch to continue to extend his lead. So the synergy there is good, but how much better can it be? Because when you get a lead like this, you want to see it compound into bigger and better things.
Dardoch with a play. I think he just ran his mind there. Dardoch almost getting himself the first blood. Palafox was just able to get out of there.
Wait, but Palafox had Splash. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, actually just used the W, holds on.
Right?
Summoner Dardoch just very aggressive. He's credit, he almost made it work.
I mean, yeah, right. It looked close, but Palafox still has his sum. So he actually ended up winning that trade because now he just burns the TP. Well, let's see if he can actually walk away with this Inferno. Because if he can get that, then now we're looking at a worthwhile trade. And the teleport from Deftly is coming out as well. I think with Scarlet, with the newfound tier, should have more than enough DPS for this to be OpTic's first Inferno.
Yep, Dardoch did save his smite. Not sure he had it when he went for that flash into the brush, but more than enough for them to wrest control of the Infernal and take down the first Drake for themselves.
We got ourselves 2 Infernos in this game so far, so things are going to start heating up. Let's see what Hard does with his time, because Dardoch used the advantage that Alorim allowed him to get to transition into a dragon. So now that he's back to even with the other jungler, things are going to be a lot different because no one is hitting level 6 yet, and the first one to do so will be able to enforce all over the opponent.
Hard also sticking around here. I think calling Darshan and Palafox up as well. Scarlet's already been moved up to this red buff, so gonna have to go back now that the wave is moving. Dardoch, thankfully for him, does not lose his red buff, but Hard does have the information and will be happy to fall back and take this Scuttle Crab.
It's just no skirmishing out of those champions right now. The Sejuani does not hold a candle to the Conqueror Aatrox if you don't have enough damage to burst him down right away. So you need Darshan and you need Palafox to be there. Otherwise, you're just wasting time looking at the other jungler.
You can get there fast enough as Gate just clips a minion there with the hook. Does get the Relic Shield proc, but not what he was after there. As Deftly and Ole are actually starting to build a real lead there in that 2v2 as well, but we'll hold on to that thought as Dardoch has snuck up here into the top lane, trying to set something up onto Darshan.
He snuck but threw a ward, and he just used his
not
dash.
that sneaky.
So smart of Dardoch to back off here, knowing that if Darshan is using his dash defensively, the odds of Hard sitting there looking for a gank are slim to none. I mean, it's basically zero, because why would you ever look for a gank when your Renekton has just used his slice and dice? It's about a 15-second cooldown at this point, so don't bother.
And does not. Just goes back and looks to reset. Almost has that warrior completed, as we do see both those little components there, the hammer on Dardoch's side and the cinder there for Hard. Projectiles though, continuing to fire in. Final tap to get a proc. It's a double root there. Flash, ignite onto the Sivir, sorry. And that's first blood over to Deathly.
That's a dangerous bottom lane, and this is what you want to see out of the LCS bottom lane of Golden Guardians. Can you crush an Academy? They are. That's up a significant portion of CS. Getting first blood as a solo kill, and now they might be able to transition this into a blue buff steal. No, Dardoch secures it, but it's a deny from Scarlet at the very least.
Yeah, Hard did not have his smite available, so a tough one for him to try and pick up. Still, they'll take that pressure. First blood money over to Deathly is nice, who's looking to kind of snowball through into the mid game with the Lucian already doing work with that early Cutlass. But we'll see this kill again. As soon as Ole hits his Q, Golden Guardians know they can go for it.
So the minion wave is in the favor of Golden Guardians at this stage, and the spell shield is just not going to do anything to the Yuumi ultimate there. I think maybe if you were to time it on the third instance, you might be able to actually not get rooted, but you'd still suffer every other little bit of damage.
Yeah, and then as soon as the next wave comes in, you get rooted. So seems like a tough one, certainly.
You think so, or would it register?
I do not know.
My guess is it takes just one time.
Maybe Gate gonna get stunned here. Loses the ulti, but ulti, ooh, clip onto Asta. Actually not enough for the kill just yet, but definitely needing one more shot. Palafox over the top. Big mistake. Does get himself killed, but at least he gets a kill out of the deal. Darshan, they're gonna cancel Alorum's TP.
Oh, what?
Darshan chases. There's the Pop Blossom. Darshan dashes over, but now Alorum gonna Dosido back to the other side and pop for that root, and Alorum out of there.
He
But a nice cancel.
He should have let him TP. He was going to waste his time down there. No way to cancel. He would have been down there
Oh, we're at it again, and Asta just can't escape the final chapter. It's Ole that gets the kill this time.
Oh, man. I swear, if Darshan did not stop that cancel, Alarim would have just threw his lane right then and there. Darshan saying, no, buddy. I need to practice. You got to stay in this lane.
Haven't played against enough Nico. Well, Alorum will stay for now, but Darshan building up about a 20 CS lead with the Renekton right now. But things are worse in bottom lane for OpTic. It's closing in on 40 as we'll watch this one again.
This is so greedy out of gate, going for the double wards, knowing that it just gets placed right away. And it's crazy that he almost makes it out with the Nautilus ultimate, and then the commitment from Hard goes in. This is Palafox being really greedy, saying, I really want that kill. You know, an alternative would have been just to sit down there and push the wave back. But look, the play was done. Oh, man. If he did not cancel, that would have been beautiful.
Darshan at it again. Top lane, almost getting himself a solo kill. Needs a little bit more damage. Will force the flash. But as you can see him in the replay, excuse me, Ole able to get Asta once again. And I believe he has presence of mind, does Ole. They did see the cooldown jump back up after getting that assist. So maybe Palafox just helping out.
Ooh, the Valkyrie in looking for Scarlet, but he's got the Sejuani right behind him. And with another Infernal, if OpTic Academy spends more resources on this, it's going to be at the cost of more income, which is a lot harder to bounce back from than at Dragon. So I think that this is one that they might have to concede and just try to get a footing of money, because it's only Scarlet that's keeping up in CS. Everywhere else, really not doing too hot.
Yeah, I mean, Dardoch, a small individual lead. Same here for the Cassio right now, but
against Sejuani,
yeah,
right? It's Sejuani. She always gets her way.
Gonna take down his control wards at least. Golden Guardians Academy looking to set up to this next Drake and try and steal this one away. Hard will start it. Golden Guardians already pushed mid and bot, so a very open objective for them to take. And I think OpTic, listening to you, Crumbs, are not going to look to contest this time.
And they have to look for gold elsewhere, though. So it's not just enough to give it up. It's what are you doing instead? And so far, it's nothing, because they're not prepping for a Herald. They're not looking for a wave clear push. And it's a matter of just not having pressure in any part of the map. Bottom lane is losing. Top lane is getting shoved in by Renekton 24/7. So OpTic is going to have to get really creative, and I feel like it'll have to come at the hands of Scarlet. This is the one guy that's been doing pretty decently well. Him and Dardoch teaming up together, I could see them doing a lot of good stuff for OpTic Academy.
Oh, just getting out before the Miasma could ground him. But Scarlet still happily trading back and forth. Palafox does have his Trinity Force now completed, so can tussle a little bit more with the Cassio, but in general, your autos don't do as much as her Fangs. So it can be tough to 1v1 a Cassio, especially with no extra MR there for Palafox. And Dardoch continuing to steal jungle away. As the warrior completely going to take down the blue buff once again. I think he's actually gotten 4 blue buffs if you count the one he had to take away from Scarlet after the invade.
He's been doing great, but he's really got to try to get some kills to get some map pressure, because Sejuani has survived just fine without her blue buff. She's already been part of 2 kills.
Darshan again, finds that stun onto Aloran, Pop Blossom popped. Gets the shield there, and Darshan knows the root's coming, so just backs away.
That's just a happy little trade, but I think burning the Darshan ult might be a bigger deal than Alarim's, just because Alarim is such a squishy champion.
Gate again gonna get rooted, pops the depth charge, but that's gonna be a kill over to Deathly. Easy cleanup there with the Blade of the Ruined King already finished.
Well, it's very clear that there is a bottom lane mismatch here between the guys that play in LCS pretty much every week and the Academy team. So Golden Guardians has a good way into the game, and going after Dardoch is bound to help.
Darshan wants to get the kill, but won't finish it off. Still, Dardoch has to be a little bit careful. Scarlet, though, able to get hard low. Now going to try and 1v1 Palafox. Ulti already committed, but he's just so strong. He takes it down. And now Dardoch going to walk back around with Alarm here as Darshan gets grounded. Finally able to dash away, and will get to safety.
That was very close, and now the duo lane is here. They just TP it. He does have flash too, so he can get really creative.
Oh, dashed over onto Dardoch. Definitely going to flash Shing. It'll go over the top and get the kill. No, Alorum going to be lined up for the next one. Ole, so good at chasing there, finds the next Q and definitely nabs the double.
They're smurfing on them. He just TP'd in. Now he's got 4 kills. Blade completed. It's going to be the complete bottom lane show out of these guys.
Yep, so far 100% kill participation, but definitely has 4 of those kills himself. Just incredibly strong in the Lucian. We'll watch what happens once that TP starts, but this does look decent for OpTic after this first initial ulti by Hard.
So part of it is that there wasn't a really clear communication that it was time to go in on Dardoch, because Darshan had to flash in very quickly there. If they were to have coordinated that, that would have been double buffs going over to Darshan, which would have likely turned this entire fight around. So the idea was great out of Golden Guardians. Pull the trigger very quickly. You have more members here that are willing to fight. But because it took so long, it didn't quite work out. OpTic was able to take one, but luckily the teleport out of Deathly.
Yep, rides the Yumi in as well, and that's easy cleanup from here. It's just so tough to get away from this cat.
That's the strength of it, right? The second you get hit by it, one Q connects, the second one connects, the third one connects, and when you have a guy like Lucian that can continue to dash forward moving fast, you essentially extend the range of Yumi even farther.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of like Ezreal Yumi, right, as a 2v2 lane, but that's much more defensive. This is the aggressive version, and kind of, I would say, updated Lulu Lucian, if you remember that combo.
I want to reincarnate as a bottom lane player and just play all sorts of weird things now. With the Yumi, right? You can do whatever you want.
Now you're trapped in the jungle still. As our Rift Herald is going to be started here by OpTic. Scarlet with more than enough DPS alongside Dardoch to take down the Herald. The Golden Guardians looking to pick a fight maybe. Scarlet there again with the Miasma. Procs the phase rush. This Cassio is not to be trifled with. Will be Rift Herald over to OpTic.
Not quick enough to use for those plates, and it will be traded for that tower in the bottom lane. That's the first brick going all over to the Golden Guardians, but that's a brick they were bound to lose. Asta and Gate clearly cannot hold their own. Already a level down, few CS, completed itemizations. It's a lot.
Darshan finally actually getting outsmarted by the Shapeshifter, but Alorum can't really all in. So just pops his defensive cooldowns, uses the GLP and gets out of there as Gate now eating harass from around the turret with the Yumi attached to the Sejuani. Looks like that Drake up. Golden Guardians know they want to look to play for the objective here.
Question, should Yumi exist?
I think Yumi's great, personally. She's so fun.
So here's my gripe is that I just can't see her. That's the issue. Like visually, I find her very hard.
Yeah, it's true. When she's attached to someone, it can be tough.
Middle of a clustered team fight, you have no idea what she's doing.
Ooh, ulti there by Hard. Nails one. Final tap to the popped as well. Looking to try and defend those gate loader. I'm going to try and dive in there as Deathlick was unstoppable. Able to take down Dada. Could pop Blossom stuns too, but Alarm not enough health to finish off the play. They will get one. Darshan does die. The Golden Guardians trading back and keeping that turret up from the Rift Herald.
That was a great pop Blossom actually from Alarum. And Darshan, he is not a tanky boy right now. He is very easy to take down, only having that black lever. Once you have that Spear of Shojin, yes, you're going to be able to sustain yourself a lot more because your Q's can come off cooldown. But before that, you're still very easy to take down, especially from the physical damage that the Sivir and the Aatrox can deal, let alone Cassiopeia's single target obliteration. Let's take another look at how this went down. And there goes Hard, connecting onto Cassiopeia. But because the ultimate was so without follow-up, she had no need to burn down that cleanse. So she was able to use all her CC, all her damage, and positioning to make sure that she not only gets Darshan, but prevents anybody else from getting in there.
I mean, you mentioned it in the play before the replay that, you know, Alarum's ult was good there. In general, OpTic have great defensive tools. Between Nika ult and Cassio ult, it is really tough to get to the backline and actually take down this Sivir if OpTic can set up well. I think the issue is that Golden Guardians have just played aggressive enough in this early game, and they're much better at proactively pulling the trigger for these plays that OpTic are kind of left to just have Golden Guardians initiate on them and then play from there. Not really much OpTic can do without a big flank or a kind of a silly positioning error that lets Gate Nautilus ult someone.
Well, luckily a lot of their guys have very X-Factor abilities. What I mean by that is that they can either stun one person, miss completely, or carry the fight completely. So a good Nautilus ultimate can win you the entire fight. A Cassiopeia ultimate can stun 5 members. Same thing with an Aatrox Q. So there's a lot of tools that can really devastate. Even Alarum, like we just saw, right? If he hits a 5-man ultimate or a 5-man E, like there's a lot this champion can do, but there's also a lot that they can't do. So mechanically, OpTic need to be on point for them to bounce back in this game. But if they are, anything is possible.
Certainly feels like ease of execution though. A little bit more straightforward here for Golden Guardians, and definitely still 5-0 to... I'm very surprised he hasn't gone back to finish up item number 2, because, yep, as expected, 2,700 gold banked up that is still left unspent. Right now, they're actually looking to take down another tower for themselves. So Darshan is going to push them off the top outer, and they'll roam up to finish this off.
I think the play is to shop now and start prepping for that next Infernal, to then transition into the Baron once you secure that objective. So with 3 minutes of time, it's more than enough for you to make a move towards the mid lane, crack that tower, start acquiring vision, get that Infernal, then move over to the Dragon. However, if a fight breaks out, say, in the process of acquiring vision, don't hesitate. Go to that Baron right away, because now this is an objective that both teams can take. Even though you don't have a mountain, you've got the right champions to burn down the big purple worm.
Yeah, a ton of damage on both sides here. As Deathly has gone back, he's got a Zeal and an Essence Reaver now fully completed up, so jumps ahead to 2.5 items now for the Lucian. And again, even though Lucian, an AD that can drop off towards the mid and late game, I think Yuumi erases a lot of that weakness by just being able to turn, you know, any carry into a hyper carry, much like the Lulu we mentioned earlier. However, OpTic are on the counter attack right now. Asta looking to take down the top outer turret, and it's 4v1 time for Darshan. Devtage is going to follow, but a ton of TPs. One going to get covered here. Who is that? It's Palafox. Wrong place, wrong time. Dead to Scarlet.
Teleports into the goo, and Miasma does not let you get out of that one, so basically it gives a nice little donation out of him, and now it's a 1-3 Corki. Scarlet being on point today.
Yeah, they actually lost both their remaining TPs. There's definitely an Ole rode in together as well. So OpTic now with a bit of power play. 5v4 in the mid outer, trying to take it down. Twin Shadows popped by Alarum to zone them off the turret, and that's going to be easily finished off as OpTic do even up on structures.
I really like the change that you can't cancel TP. Makes people look like such fools all the time. It's funny. You have to really think about the play before you make it. Otherwise, that's going to happen. So you need a lot of foresight. Like, are they going to continue to fight in this direction? Is my team going to lead me up? Do I have enough time?
Ooh, really, really nicely played. The root is good. The culling is there almost enough to take down Scarlet. And what a neat little turnaround there for Definitely to not get ulted by the Cassio. In fact, Scarlet maybe didn't use it, but well played around the tough zones of control that Cassio has. Almost able to get a kill and at least got the flash.
It's just crazy deadly with this Lucian now that he's so fed. About to have that RFC. And now another fight trying to break out in the jungle, but there's nothing to fight for besides the vision before the dragon, like we previously covered. Now Cassiopeia is back in the mix. No flash, but she still has that all-important cleanse, so Hard nor Darshan will be able to flash.
No Yuumi ult either, but they do spot them in the brush with the Prowling Projectile. Hard not going to get rooted, going to get stunned up by Gate though. In the front side, Gate is going to get chopped down by the damage. But Dardoch diving in with Alorum. Here's the depth charge onto Palafox. Gets knocked up, Dardoch follows in, Dunkaroonie, and that's Scarlet able to get the kill.
That's another time that Corki is down with the second Infernal. Wait a minute. OpTic, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Are they gonna go to Baron out of this? No, they're pushing out mid lane first, so trying to buy some time, forcing Renekton to go crash that wave, so this is gonna be their Infernal Dragon. And number 2 means you got 14%.
Trying to get a steal, does not get it. Scarlet able to grab the last hit. It was close, but OpTic do secure the objective.
That is right. 14%, 7, is it 7 or actually?
You're asking the wrong commentator. If
Yeah, all right. I'll have to look it up again. I believe the first one is stronger than all the other ones. So I'm just trying to remember the figures. Whatever, the fight begins with the slowest proccing Hard's passive, and then the hook goes in. So he's already a little bit squishy. But what really seals the deal is that Palafox steps out of bounds while the rest of the team disengage in the top side, which gives OpTic the opportunity to go in, because as you see, Lucian is not there. Golden Guardians is pretty much useless without Yuumi and Lucian right now. All their gold is there. If you look at their score, if you take away the bottom lane, they're 1, 5, and 3. Whereas if you take away the bottom lane of OpTic, they're doing just fine. It's 3, 3, and 5. So it makes a lot more sense for them to pull the trigger when Deftly and Olay are not there.
And Golden Guardians gonna have to change things up a little as far as how they play from this point onwards, because Darshan has gone very 1v1 with his build.
Oh, it's a good team fight build too.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah,
okay.
The Spear of Shojin is amazing for that too, because the idea is you get constant resets on the tank, so you get all your spells always, so you have a lot of stuns, lets you go in and out of the backline. But now you need to start thinking about ways to survive further. If you want to go DPS route, survivability items, you got Death Stance, you have Guardian Angel, you've got Sterak's. If you want to go purely defensive, well, then you've got options like a Warmogs or a Randu and Zoman. So there's a lot for Darshan to work with. It's a matter of having the gold, which doesn't seem likely as he's about to die.
Yeah, Darshan forced to block that depth charge and flash away. It did eventually connect onto Definitely, but Gate not going to re-engage as Hard, will flash out. OpTic starting to find picks here as the accuracy ticks up from this Nautilus.
They have a deadly comp. The second you get caught out by any of this CC, the Miasma follow-up, the Aatrox locks you down and puts you right in front of Asta and Scarlet to dish out all the damage in the world. Now that's a 3-item Cassiopeia, which is way more damage than a Lucian can pump out.
And again, we've been harping on about just how strong Definitely has been all game long. And now, at the 3 items, has the rapid-fire cannon you expected. But it's not enough to just get a lead. You have to use that lead to win the game. And given the gold lead between the two sides is about 3,000 up for Golden Guardians, and I would say most, if not all of that, currently lies on Definitely. Definitely has a huge burden this game,
and that's
carry it.
That's why he's in the academy. Can you carry? Can you be an LCS player, move down into academy, and hard carry a team? If you can, then that really shows that you're capable of carrying, and then that makes a case for you to be in the LCS team when they need you to play a carry style game. But if not, then it shows that you're probably a different kind of player, more of a supportive AD carry. And there's no right way of going about it. It's just a matter of which one can you execute the best on.
And Definitely and Olay in general have been a very defensive bottom lane in the main team for Golden Guardians. And given how aggressively their top side plays, I can't really blame them.
But that's why I think they're here, right? Can you start practicing and working on that, because they are needed to take that role when the champion select will benefit the team if they play a more aggressive champion, because it frees up the rest of the map. And now if they can pull it off here, which it looks like they're in the position to do so, then you make a case for expanding the champion pools out of everybody in your team, because you have a more aggressive option in the bottom lane.
Well, OpTic have done a good job kind of keeping the game pretty close. Those two Infernal Drakes as well will look very nice as we're ticking up towards the 30-minute mark. Also, we've hyped up Scarlet a lot, given how well he's played this game, and he is the one with the shutdown and the 3 items already done. So I was kind of wondering, you know, it seems tough for OpTic to try and start team fights, but once they start them, it is very easy for them to finish them.
Well, so far, it's been pretty easy to have somebody in your face there, and Asta flashing out. This is...
Yeah, Gate going to be caught instead as a result. Locked up, stunned still, but not dead. They're calling out onto Scarlet, but a good ulti. Stuns definitely just in time as Ole is able to finally snipe Gate with the Ignite.
Oh, that is dangerous. The bottom lane cannot continue to be getting caught out like that. Another casualty, and that might have been OpTic having to go against Golden Guardian, setting up a Baron. Now, Sejuani doesn't have ultimate, so the wave clear will be easy.
Little loop-de-loop there by Ole. But again, just buying time to cover for this Drake that's up in 10 seconds. Golden Guardian trying to make sure they keep the objectives in their favor. Taking out the Speed Shrine. Going to go back to mid and get that pushed out. I think OpTic have officially given up on trying to contest these objectives.
And it's such a big deal that they did that, because this is a Mountain Dragon. Now Infernal, now Mountain. It means that Golden Guardians really has a very powerful Baron threat. 2 carries, one of them having a Blade of the Ruined King. It could not be harder to defend that Baron. So OpTic Academy needs to use this time to really set up vision here and neither prevent Golden Guardians from doing Baron themselves, or just rushing it and making sure that they have no chance of taking the objective because it's already on their hands.
It's a decent 2-man Baron squad here for OpTic, but a Golden Guardian's going to figure this out. Now the rest of the team walking over, I think finally spotted, and they will back off the objective.
2 Infernals, but no Mountain means that that Baron is going to take a lot of time. But they need to be very careful about these recalls, because that would be the opportunity for Golden Guardians to start it off themselves. And let's see if they pull the trigger. Yeah, they know exactly what's up. They know OpTic just based out of that attempt, and only Gate has the opportunity to ward it. He has 1 control ward, and it's Cassiopeia that needs to be in range, but it's not going to matter. You lost the Baron. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Dashan over the top just to make sure, and Dardoch was back in base. So Golden Guardians just take the opportunity and take down the Baron.
That's such a classic play. You just wait for them to recall, you take the Baron, and it's like you did, all the work was done by the opponent.
Again, I think I like the idea for OpTic to use this Cassio and the Aatrox to 2-man the Baron, but I think have to realize that once they find out you're doing that, it's not just like, oh, we got caught, we have to leave. It's like, oh, we got caught. I don't have any health. Our jungler needs to reset. If I reset, we lose the Baron. If I stay and I die, we lose the Baron.
And
at that point, you kind of just lost.
And they couldn't even 2-man it. They would have needed 3, because this Aatrox does not have any lifesteal and is way too squishy. So it was an ill-advised attempt out of them. But you're right. Once that happens, it's really easy for Golden Guardians to continue to push, because they invested no time or resources in that, which means that this next Baron push has all the effort that would have gone into the last Baron securing attempt into an actual push. So they should be even stronger here, and having the positioning around 3 lanes already shows us that when the wave clear for OpTic is really spread out to just Sivir and Cassio.
And keep your eyes still on the Lucian. Infinity Edge now finished for Deathly, and it's actually got a 5th item that you might not be able to see, but it's attached to the cat, as Ardent Sensor has been finished now for Ole. So he steals the enemy blue buff, and certainly set up to carry this one as Darshan popping the ulti and just making a statement here against Aloran, but they already took down the 2 tier 2s in the side lane, so looking to pressure for this one in mid, and even Palafox is up having an adventure, just casually pushing waves in the top lane. He's got the fun job.
Darshan is very liberal with his ultimate usages of Renekton. I mean, he's going for it pretty much every time he can find a stun onto Alarim. But as long as he continues to maintain pressure, it's what Golden Guardians needs him. Because now they're cracking another mid tower. If they keep it up, they'll be able to get inhibitor turrets next without facing.
mean, cooldown's pretty low, but have to be careful not to proc Spear of Shojin, which I don't think he did in the last exchange. So we'll have the ulti back up soon, and we'll once again be able to threaten. There's definitely an Ole to finally finish off the tier 2 in mid. Palafox has a few more joining his adventures in the top lane. And Golden Guardians just trying to line up all these waves, like we saw 100 Thieves do last game, just wanting to break this base at as equal time as they can. Darshan does get the turret here in bottom lane.
I really think Darshan can one of these people.
Gonna try, pop blossom pop. Final chapter out. Darshan maybe stuck a little too far forward, but definitely gonna blow up Gate, or at least try to. Darshan gonna be forced back in, dashes back in, and now flashes out of the way, and a huge amount of damage done by Deftly and Palafox as both marksmen are able to fire into OpTic.
Palafox TP down for this play, so now they don't have pressure into the top lane, which would have been able to result in 2 inhibitor towers. So they do miss out on maximum value here, but getting 1 inhibitor in the bottom side right before another Mountain Dragon spawns is going to yield even more game-ending objectives. So all is well in the Golden Guardians camp.
And backs will continue. Ole has decided to pair his Magi's with a needlessly large rod. And Last Whisper there for Deathly, so rapidly approaching a full build here.
And look at how strong Scarlet is. He just completed that death cap. He's got so much damage. And you can really count on your fingers. Sorry, on your hands. How many magic resist items there are?
Not very many.
There's 5. That's why the hand.
Ah, I see.
Because
should have known that.
It's right. It's
again the wrong commentator to ask about Matt Scrum.
Rail, Negatron, Mercs, Spectre's Cowl, and the Null Magic.
Well, if they can position their 2 very good carries to kind of get the job done. Drake though over to Golden Guardians Academy. Alorum's gonna run in, but that's real Alorum, and that Yumi's doing quite a lot of damage.
And Delusion too. This is a really nasty combination.
Full carry bot lane.
I mean, he's got 200 Grail stacks, which means his next heal is going to be crazy.
Here's Ole again, dashing onto Hard. Hard just playing aggressive with a Yumi attached to Scarlet. It's so much damage from that Q. Cassio also not with that much magic resist on herself right now.
Because he's going AP, right? You got 8 stacks of the Magi's, a needlessly large, building into who knows what. Maybe even the death cap.
Only 2 options, right?
Yeah,
Spellbinder and death cap. I hope it's death cap. That synergizes nicely with the Magi's. He also has a bit of extra AP from the Chalice as well. I think from any regen you get, it converts into AP, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a long time since I built that item.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what it does. You get stacks of it for hitting the enemy with an ability.
More damage you do, more stacks you get, which is nice.
Yeah, and so when you have stacks, when you use a spell that is either a shield or a heal on an opponent, and Aerie is not going to count, so pretty much when you use Zoomies, the heal of it is then having the number of stacks that you have on the Grail added on top of it. So he would have a plus 213 heal on his Zoomies heal, making his Zoomies be really, really strong.
All right, well, OpTic hopping in Twin Shadows. Golden Guardians trying to close the trap here. Looks almost like a full flank. Good grab there by Gate, but the final chapter going to shut down most of that. They do get the kill. Alorum trying to dive in, cannot connect with the Pop Blossom, but Hard going to be chased out of there. Dardoch with the reset. Golden Guardians have to be very careful. Dardoch still chasing. Prowling Projectile going to cut him off, but OpTic win that fight. They're going to storm down one of these objectives. Just a matter of picking one.
The real winner there was Gate. He interrupted Palafox's Valkyrie. Again, Dardoch is in trouble.
Ace check, but covered by the rest of his team. Alorum is forced to go back to the bottom lane to defend those supers, and Deathly and Ole are actually cutting off the wave and forcing OpTic away from the tower. They could have rushed to the Baron. They could have tried to rush the tier 2, but they did neither and come away with nothing but those kills.
I think Golden Guardian can 2-man this Baron in a matter of seconds. Double mounted. It just got scouted, so OpTic Academy is aware.
They're going to force them here, though. Hard is up in 3 seconds, but just with the few they have right now, Scarlet's wraparound, though, going to have to cause Golden Guardians to get away. Do land that first Q, but don't want to run headfirst into a Cassio with ulti up. So The Golden Guardians will disengage.
Yeah, they really don't have to force that there. Without the smite, it's not worth the risk. Knowing that you can take it so quickly is reassuring, though. It tells you just secure a little bit of vision, and then you can start it. You know how quickly you can take this objective down.
Definitely also shooting down some wards. Hard on the rest of Golden Guardians Academy have respawned. And they still have a pretty big wave of supers pushing in that bottom half of the map. So Golden Guardians know they have all the pressure they need to just start this Baron once again.
I love how decisive they are, and now Dardoch is here. He does have his flash, but way too
by
late.
Baron. Double Mountain Inferno with a Fed Lucian's going to do that. Not to mention that Palafox is coming along nicely with his build, actually up to 3 items himself, and they're awfully expensive.
OpTic has enough damage to actually win the team fight here. You got a 4-item Sivir, a 4-item Cassiopeia. You don't need a whole lot more, but the engage is full of Guardians.
Instantly popped there from Hard, and goodbye Gate. Trying to the backside, gonna take down Asta, and that might be all she wrote here for this one. Dardoch gonna try Aloran with the Pop Blossom, gonna try and get a few more kills. Definitely did die, but he gets a triple kill before it's all said and done. But actually, I think they were able to do it here. Dardoch finds the reset. Aloran gonna dash back around. Dashan gonna lose his Guardian Angel. OpTic able to find this fight with only 2 members left. A perfect rip from Aloran out of the Resurrection, and OpTic find the ace.
That was crazy. The damage that OpTic was able to deal in their base was nutty, and I really want to see who was doing most of it, because Gate went down right away. He was only able to get an ultimate cast out, and Sivir got pretty much deleted. So it was Dardoch and Skarlet that really did most of it.
I mean, Skarlet didn't even get that much off. Dardoch kind of just doing all the damage himself. This was a player known for his 1v5s play when he first joined the LCS. Still has that streak in him by the looks of things.
It's Conqueror Aatrox, level 16, so his damage is a little bit higher here. His healing is even extra, and he's very close to finishing in that Death's Dance, which is a huge deal for him because he didn't even have that item before that.
And he's at this point, especially when he gets the Death Dance, he's just basically top lane Aatrox with a smite.
Oh yeah, that's the whole point of playing jungle Aatrox. You want to end up being top lane Aatrox, but in a different lane.
TP in Dashan. Sivir popped again, Twin Shadows to back it up. OpTic trying to zone them off this Elder Dragon. With a big wave in the top half. The Golden Guardians just want to try and buy more time. Turret does die, but that inhib will fall if the minions get enough free time. Bottom inhib though has respawned for OpTic, so this game's gone awfully late, and given how far ahead the Golden Guardians were, I think at a point right now where we're starting to see that this team can sometimes struggle to close out games. Aloran there, oh my goodness, 2 shots from Palafox.
He still has that package, unwilling to use it just in case he gets caught out of position, but Alrim does have his TP in case this fight at Dragon breaks out, but they're going to trade it for him. I think Palafox can end the game. That's double mounted Corki. Are you crazy?
Yeah, I mean, Aloran
can't let that guy alone.
I don't know if Aloran can do it on his own. Zooms in there with a Home Guard Pop Blossom, does find the root, but Aloran is going to get shot down by Palafox, the tower. They're almost enough to take down the Corki, but he does live.
That gives Golden Guardians complete agency to take down this Dragon, and Aloran really dropping the ball on that defense there, unexpecting the damage that Palafox can deal, because if you look at the last 20 minutes, Palafox has really just been dying over and over without doing anything. So you're wondering, how much damage does Corki do? Oh, wow, he 2-shots me because my Hourglass is useless. That's 80% magic damage crits.
Yeah, a 4-item Corki. I mean, 3 is the point where you usually feel pretty good, but 4 is just overkill as Hard's gonna just miss the goalpost on that one. Gate, though, taking a little too much. Gonna have the Sivir ult behind him, pop in for the Zeeks after ulting with the depth charge, but Golden Guardian still up. 10 seconds for Aloran to be back up. And then maybe OpTic can find another miracle defense.
Really will need a miracle and a half here, even though Aloran is back up.
Oh, what a miasma. Stopping, definitely getting aggressive with the dash right in its tracks. Again, we've seen if OpTic's damage will stay alive, or even if just Dardoch's able to get in there, they have the ability to win a team fight.
Oh, they definitely can. We have yet to see Skarlet do a crazy Cassiopeia ultimate too. Like, that could also be a factor. A flash Cassio ulti would be filthy.
Well, they're trying to take down the inhibs right now. Definitely going to get the second in mid. There's the third drop now in bot. And OpTic have a new challenge. It's not just the 5 members of Golden Guardians Academy they must contend with. It's the poke, it's these minions, it's the calling now from Deathly. Zalorum shapeshifts in, trunks down Darshan decently. GOP gonna go wide and collapse into most of the minions in the front line, but Golden Guardians Academy just have to be patient here.
They need to be quick on their feet though, because 2 rapid fire cannons and an Infernal with 2 mountains mean it's a 4x mountain bonus. Those towers will melt. Just a few Trinity Force procs and their base will be in shambles. OpTic need to find an engage now, which is suboptimal because the Dragon Burn is still well inactive.
Yeah, they're getting poked out by Yuumi kind of solo right now. I mean, between the Yuumi Q and the Corki rockets, OpTic are having struggling to do anything before they even try and find a team fight. That Nexus turret exploded. Depth charge finds Cephalopy goes away as Palafox over the side is going to try and finish it off. Alorum with the pop blossom looks to try and seal it all up, but a final chapter and Deathly riding in is probably going to finish off the game. Looking a little close, but definitely actually dead. Dardoch again is going to find the miracle defense. Palafox kiting his way out of there, but Dardoch says, not today, my friends. Get out of my base.
Is he really going to try to do this all on his own? Can he do it? There's still CC and a GA.
Darshan flashes Dardoch. Again, just chasing in. Needs to find the kills, but now the Nexus is exposed. He's getting kited all the way around the Nexus, playing ring around the Rosie, but he finally gets resurrected, gets shut down by the Yuumi, and despite Dardoch's best efforts, Golden Guardians will slay that Nexus.
Oh, I really would have loved to see them continue to battle it out. Dardoch almost pulling it through at the end of that one.
That was wild. 2 Nexus defenses by Dardoch almost kept OpTic in that game.
It's that Aatrox power picking that carry. However, you need to be like 35 minutes in for you to be that strong. It needs a lot of itemizations because there just wasn't that much setup everywhere.
I also think very few jungle Aatroxes can do what Dardoch does here. I mean, it's the reason he's picking Pac, the reason he's picking Kayn is that this is still a player that feels confident in his ability to 1v5 at any stage of the game. And he made it surprisingly close.
Well, that's the power of utilizing those very strong meta picks. You can play them anywhere, and you don't even have to be that great on them. They are inherently great at the moment, which is why you have to stay up on your current patches, really understand what's good, what's not, and what are the right synergies. And I think one of the right synergies is what we saw out of Ole and Deftly here. The Lucian Yuumi was filthy. They crushed that bottom lane.
And thank God you mentioned it, because let's take a look at all the fun stuff that Yuumi and Lucian can do.
Yeah, the double root right away, the calling into it, and they continue to chase and turn that into another play onto Sivir, who uses the spell shield on the initial Q, not realizing that she was right around the corner. It looks like we've seen this movie a million times over. Q into R, Q into R, and they continue to go down.
Don't worry, it's still going.
Q into, what is it?
Just flashes.
Oh, it's not ours, but it's still deaths.
And still able to chase. Again, just relentless. So much mobility and poke pressure there from the Yuumi. And Lucian definitely clocks in a huge amount of damage, although Palafox also with those rockets putting the numbers up pretty high. Pretty wild game. Golden Guardians ahead for most of it. Seemed to struggle to close out in that mid to late game, which is where we've been throwing criticism at this team, but their ability to get leads, to play creatively, and to just play aggressively has been a hallmark, regardless of which bottom lane has been in.
That struggle were those dips in the graph, where instead of being a straight line like that, it's and again.
It makes games more exciting, to be fair.
Oh yeah,
maybe
sure.
Not what you want.
I'm sure they're just as excited to be in there.
All right, well, we're going to take a break after that one, but on the other side, Team Liquid Academy faces off against Cloud9 Academy.
Woo! Don't go anywhere. Forgot to add that one.
Thanks, Grumps. Definitely needing one more shot. Palafox over the top. Big mistake. Does get himself killed, but at least he gets a kill out of the deal. Darshan, they're going to cancel Alorum's TP.
Oh, what?
Definitely going to flash Shing. It'll go over the top and get the kill. No, Alorum going to be lined up for the next one. Ole, so good at chasing there. Finds the next Q and definitely naps the double. Final tap to the popped as well. Looks to try and defend those gate low. Darshan going to try and dive in there as definitely goes unstoppable. Able to take down Dada. Good pop blossom stuns too. Darshan to the backside. Going to take down Aster, and that might be all she wrote here for this one. Dada going to try Alorum with the pop blossom. Going to try and get a few more kills. Definitely did die, but he gets a triple kill before it's all said and done. Depth charge finds Cephalopy, goes away as Palafox over the side is going to try and finish it off. Alorum with the pop blossom. Looks to try and seal it all up, but a final chapter and definitely riding in is probably going to finish off the game.